What is up, everybody? Renfail here. Hopefully, you're doing well. We're back with more Oblivion Remastered, and I have now officially wrapped up the Knights of the Nine DLC and the Shivering Isles DLCs. I did them back to back as part of my playthrough of the game. So, when I originally played the game years ago, I never played the DLC. I just played the base game a couple of different times, but it's been a long time ago. I did things like vampirism and the Dark Brotherhood quests, and of course the Gray Fox quest. And this time around, I did some of the things I wanted to do right away. Like I went through and I did the not Dark Brotherhood. I did the Gray Fox quest line again because I really wanted to see that. I did some of the other quests in and around Oblivion, and then I went straight into Knights of the Nine, did that, and then went into Shivering Isles, wrapped that up this morning, and now I'm working on the main quest line to wrap up my playthrough of the Oblivion Remastered edition. I'm not trying to do a completionist version because I've already played this game years and years and years ago, but I did want to see the DLC because I've never done it. That's what the review today is going to be focused on. And then if you want to continue to watch me play the game, I'll be playing it probably for the rest of the week. I'm currently just working on wrapping up the main quests, so we did a little bit of that this morning, and then that'll be the main focus for the next few days until we do a wrap on this. So let's talk expansions. So obviously, with this remastered edition, they bring the expansions into the overall package. So if you've never played the game before, you're getting not only the base game, but also all of the DLCs included. And I was doing some reading online today that says if you're going to do a completionist version of this game, it's in between 185 and 200 hours of content if you do everything, including all of the DLC stuff. So quite a bit of content there. Now, as far as what I focused on for the DLCs, I did not try to do a completionist version of the Shivering Isles. I only focused on the main quest line and a couple of the side quests related to the like the armor and weapons you can get crafted. So let's start with the Knights of the Nine. The Knights of the Nine, I feel like even though it was a fun storyline, right? And it's kind of like I feel like the best way to do Knights of the Nine is if you're a good character who's focused on being knightly and just and chaste and chivalrous. Because the moment I got finished with the quest and put my mask of the Gray Fox back on, I lost all of my special abilities and the ability to wear all of the armor that you get as a result of the Knights of the Nine DLC. Because it was like you've become a criminal, you would need to go walk the path again, re-cleanse yourself. So it was a cool storyline to do, but I also feel like it was kind of wasted on a thief character because the moment I got done and went back to my normal thieving ways, I lost the ability to use all that gear. And yes, I could have just not worn the gray cowl anymore. The and Gray Fox's cowl of, was it Nocturnal? Um, I could have chose not to use that and still gone around and done things, but that's not my role play. Like my role play is I am the Gray Fox. So, you know, that being said, it was a really cool storyline, very short compared to the Shivering Isles. But I feel like if I was especially I feel like if I was a like knightly character, like some sort of a soldier character, a warrior character, it would be perfect. What was interesting is that the armor that it gives you is all based on your uh, the armor type that you sort of specialize in. So in my case, I was getting all of the gear was light armor. The weapons not so much, and that was another sort of weird pressure point for me as a thief character because I had not put any points into strength. And the moment they gave me the mace weighed like 34 pounds, and then the sword weighed like another 30 pounds. I was overburdened the moment that they gave me the mace, and I had to do some really creative, like loot goblin stuff to avoid not being overburdened while I was doing that, and finding like boots of the feather and a ring of the feather and other things to keep me from being constantly overburdened while I was working through the Knights of the Nine expansion. Um, then we got to the Shivering Isles, and I do feel like the difference between those two expansions is night and day. I feel like you could probably classify Knights of the Nine as like a DLC, and then I feel like the Shivering Isles is a proper expansion pack because there were probably a dozen to 15 quests that I just didn't do that were tied to things you could do in the Shivering Isles. And then once you wrap up, you're the lord of that realm, and you still have the ability to go and do all the quests and other things, right? So it's like it's definitely it felt kind of open world in that sense because it's like, hey, you could do all of these quest lines leading up to the end of the Shivering Isles, or you could just wait until the end of the main storyline related to the Shivering Isles and then go do all the side quests as well. That was definitely way more involving. I feel like there was way more variety in the voice acting, and I'm guessing it's because the budget was much bigger by the time they got to the Shivering Isles expansion. Um, Way more quest content compared to Knights of the Nine, and just way more voice acting overall. Um, Quite a bit of puzzles and really involving quest lines that had me running all over the place and doing 4, 5, 6, 8 different steps to complete a quest line. So it felt very much more like a main storyline as opposed to Knights of the Nine, which was much shorter in comparison. I think between the two, I probably got about 20 hours of quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Game, but the Knights of the Nine was like 6 hours. I think it was like five. I'd have to go back and look at the stream sessions, but it was like two stream sessions, I think. So very short, like 6 hours or so, and the rest was Shivering Isles. And of course, now I understand the whole "cheese for everyone" line that everyone has talked about being so famous for so many years. Um, Definitely feel like I enjoyed both of the DLCs. Like I said, my only bone to pick is that when I finished up Knights of the Nine, I couldn't use any of the armor or weapons anymore because my character was a thief. Whereas the Shivering Isles stuff, I felt like it didn't really matter. I didn't want to use any of the gear that I got because it wasn't suited to my thieving character. I kind of feel like that gear is more suited towards like being a mage or something. Be that as it may, fun storylines, and I think going through Dementia and Mania, I definitely preferred Mania just because I liked the brightness and the kind of chaotic nature of those characters, whereas Dementia was very much dark and dreary and kind of sad and melancholy. Um, and Sheogorath, um, yeah, interesting character. I did not know that because I'm not. This comes back to me not being intimately familiar with the lore of the Elder Scrolls. I did not know that Elder Scrolls Online is technically a prequel to all of this stuff. So the Sheogorath that we're meeting here is after the Sheogorath that I remembered meeting in my first playthrough of the Elder Scrolls Online, which is probably like 8 years ago or something, a long time ago. Um, Anyway, I have finished the DLC. Quite enjoyed both of them. Again, didn't try to do a completionist version of the Shivering Isles. I just did the main storyline, and got out of it what I wanted, and quite enjoyed it. It's nice to know that there's a ton of stuff there for the people who want to do deep dives. But because I have so many other things that I have to get to this year, I'm not trying to do a completionist version. That's more for the people who only play one big game at a time, and I don't because I do variety stuff. So, that being said, I'm off. We still got more Oblivion to get through as we finish the main storyline, so make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. Every single day we start around 5 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch, and we will be wrapping this up over the next week. We're also playing Days Gone Remastered right now, still dabbling away with Expedition 33 and working our way towards the Dune Awakening open beta weekend this weekend. And then we have Doom the Dark Ages and the Star Wars Outlaws DLC on the middle of the month. And then at the end of the month, we've got Tainted Grail, I think is what it's called. Lots of stuff happening. Follow for more. Let me know your thoughts down below on the expansions and the DLCs for the Oblivion Remaster, and we'll see you guys in the next one.